Last year at Tottenham Hotspur, we could not imagine that we would give this presentation today about this new normal and challenging times we are all in. To survive, it's essential to keep fans engaged and keep them close to the clubs. Because when they are allowed to finally go back in the stands, they will be there. Over the last 7 or 8 months, we've seen already great examples of clubs to keep that supporters relationship alive. The user day is normally not only a day we give presentations, but also meet a lot of new people. With over 20 clubs joined the Sports Alliance community last year and new people coming into clubs, we first like to introduce myself and my colleague Matt. I'm Wouter van Dijk, Director Sports Alliance Benelux, and my colleague Matt, Account Director of Sports Alliance UK, leading the account managers team there. Digital and data are the most important assets of clubs right now. Since lockdown, we have seen a huge growth in digital activity and demand from supporters. A diverse offering of digital is key and traditional offers need to change. We are going to review some clients' best practice and showcase how a membership could look like in 2021 and beyond. We do this via 3 pillars we identified during this lockdown. The first one is delivery, second one engagement, and the last one development. The first phase we came in during the first lockdown was delivery. And now with new lockdowns in the UK, Belgium and the Netherlands, we are again looking at the delivery phase and how we could help sports bringing back. Some stats we looked at and what we did over the last period. A lot of digital comms went out to individual supporters to inform them about cancellations and compensations. With single sign-on, especially with games behind closed doors in the UK, we saw a high demand in single sign-on logins. With BI and Tableau getting more and more important to identify what gaps are in revenue streams because of the lockdown. With CRM, some nice examples with the most vulnerable supporters in the UK were called by the club to say, okay, how are you doing during this lockdown? Streaming, over 750,000 email streaming codes were sent to supporters. Club cash refunds, not cash out to the bank account, but on your club cash account so it is reused inside the club. Operational mailing lists, we created operational mailing lists for all clubs so they could easily send out comms to all supporters that essential information about cancellations and refunds. And partial capacity, especially in the Netherlands and Belgium, important when games were allowed with public. Compensation. So the first things most clubs looked at in Belgium and Netherlands, because they were the first competitions that were cancelled without games behind closed door, was season ticket renewal and compensation. We saw a lot of different approaches from clubs, from full support without any compensation, partial compensation, or a full compensations. Also, the methods how clubs were requesting compensation was different. Ticketing systems were used, but we also support a lot of clubs with surveys via toy form. And the example we show here is a compensation platform Club Brugge built with their digital agency to compensate fans on a match-by-match basis. Totally integrated with single sign-on, and because of the linked ticketing account, they could check if somebody was allowed to get compensation for a match. If they were allowed, they could fill in their choice and they could also say, oh, I don't want to have compensation. Doing this by a match-on-match basis, Club Brugge hoped that a lot of people would choose for not having any compensation and full support for the club. They also compensated fans for the missed matches in 1920, and they did that via the new project Club ID with Club Cash, so people received a refund on their Club Cash account. During the summer, we already brainstormed a lot internally, how we could help clubs to let as many people as possible inside the stand safely. We looked at this at a stadium migration, what we have a lot of experience in, but now on a match-by-match basis. At the end, we came up with our vision for partial capacity and stadium optimization based on data. Especially when in Belgium and the Netherlands, where we had matches with public in August, September and October, it was great to see that some clubs were able to use our vision. And that's why we supported Club Brugge, KA Gent and KV Mechelen together with our partner 3D Digital Venue to have as many season ticket holders inside the stand safely. Now, with lockdown, unfortunately, we are having no public at all in the Netherlands and Belgium as well. But we are sure this experience will help us, and also in the UK, in the near future to get people back safely to the stands. The focus of the UK clubs was mainly around streaming. Because games were behind closed doors, it was allowed to stream them on their own OTT platform or via the broadcasters. To keep fans engaged, they sent out, or compensate, they sent out a lot of streaming codes that people get a discount or good season ticket holders could see the game for free. When matches started again, clubs also need to think about match day experience, and with partial capacity, operationally as well. One of the things with partial capacity is that season ticket holders need a match ticket for every match, because they can't use their season ticket card. One of the nice things of single sign-on is enabling, together with ticketing, the inside match ticket in the app. For example, we did this for PSV, so season ticket card holders didn't need to print their ticket, but could just a mobile app for access. One of the nice things with apps is that they could also automatically brighten the screen, so scanning is going smoothly. After Wolves, we now also have the second club, and this time in the Benelux, that sent out targeted push notifications. Club Brugge is enabled by single sign-on and SRM campaign, is seeing an uplift of 180% in conversion rates between general and targeted push notifications. We also saw more focus from clubs on the digital matchday experience and, for example, converting the historical matchday books to digital versions. The second phase we want to look at is engagement. Now we are back in the season and football is allowed to be played behind closed doors. The challenge is to keep the fans engaged. We will share some best practices and great examples we have seen so far. PSV did a great job by combining a traditional postcard with a VR experience inside their mobile app for season ticket holders. Season ticket holders received the card, needed to scan the QR code inside the app, and Donja Malen was brought inside their living room. So the postcard is delivered to the season ticket holder. Inside the PSV app, he will scan his card and the VR experience is unlocked.
Kijk hoe huge deze guy is.
It was a nice way to say thank you to the season ticket card holders, but it was also a nice example of how you could bring physical experience to digital. To keep fans engaged during this COVID period, more and more clubs invested in a gamification platform. We now have integrations with 3 different platforms: Crowd Manager, named Social C before, and Lead Family, also integrated with our single sign-on platform. So supporters can log in with their club account and directly access the game. It's a great way of collecting new data records, opt-ins, and keep club databases active. The integration gives full insight in campaign activity via Tableau, and also you are able to retarget via SRM campaign. Example we see here is from Club Brugge voting on a man of the match. When they enter the game, they will be asked to authenticate They will log in with their single sign-on club account, and the details are automatically filled in. It's an easy and quick way for supporters to enter a game and have that activity scale that we all know from the SRAM campaign used. I will now finish my part of this presentation and will hand over to Matt, who will give you more examples of engagement initiatives and will walk forward to look next year in a new normal. Hopefully I can meet you again in person on our next user day. Thanks, and over to Matt.
Hi everyone, and thanks Wouter. I'm Matt Swindells, Account Director here in the UK, and obviously we're back live in London now as well. So I'm going to continue on with some additional examples from the UK, and then discuss how some of these elements can come together to form a new membership offering. As we kind of reflected on with Mark and Emma, the engagement levels for email have been improving more than ever, and the content of those email campaigns has also completely changed. Some of the examples you can see here, we've got from pub quizzes to esports to podcasts to foundation updates, and each and every one of our clients has made sure that supporters were kept informed and entertained during lockdown. And we ask you to continue to look and test and learn with the content that you are putting out across your digital channels. A really nice example here of a personalised kit from Bristol City. And in order to encourage fans to accept a streaming code rather than a refund for the remaining 1920 games, the club offered an option of taking a code alongside the fan's name being included on the special edition third kit, which will be worn for one game only. Those shirts are then available to purchase online, so it's a great way to engage and reward those supporters. The next example from Rangers, this was actually created pre-COVID, is the Rangers Online Soccer Academy, and since lockdown those plans have been accelerated. So the Academy provides an online resource with exclusive footage of coaching sessions, and then provides an unprecedented access to the club's methodology on youth development. The Online Academy has been used extensively by Rangers' official partner clubs in India and the United States, and is now available to all clubs at different levels across the globe. There's also an option now for fans to sign up and to view specific pieces of content. And as you can see from the Jermaine Defoe example, any fan now can go in and download that content and get access to it. So it's a really nice example of moving a traditional physical product into the digital world. And another one with a similar ideology around the physical to digital is virtual or digital mascots. Both Swansea City and Leicester have got some really nice executions here and examples. From a Swansea perspective, you can actually go and purchase this package online. As part of the package, you receive a personalised message from the mascot's favourite player, an appearance on the Swansea City social media channels, a picture in the Matchday programme, a picture on the Swans TV live coverage, as well as a certificate, and then also a match-worn signed shirt by your favourite player. So lots of things included in that package. Very similar for Leicester. Theirs is available through part of the Junior Foxes membership. And here's the personalised message that Leicester City legend Christian Fuchs passed on to one of the supporters.
It's a favourite player, Christian Fuchs here. It's an honour to be chosen as one of your favourites. And while you can come down to watch us in person against Sheffield United, your support from home really means a lot. I've been told that you are a massive Leicester City fan, as is your brother Jayden and friend Theo. So make sure you keep up the great support and cheer us on as loudly as you can. Stay safe and enjoy the game on Thursday.
Okay, so Wolves Esports, so this is the professional gaming arm of Wolverhampton Wanderers Football Club. And this is something that was created pre-COVID, but has become a huge engagement piece throughout lockdown and continues to be so for the club. So watching this kind of digital stay-at-home product develop over the last 9 months or so has been really interesting for us. And it continues to go from strength to strength in terms of the numbers and the key metrics. And I know the guys at Wolves have enjoyed delivering something completely different to the kind of day-to-day activities and seeing a much broader and different audience than they normally would in this space. Another really nice kind of CSR example here, and something that I was really impressed with by Stoke City, which is essentially focusing on school lessons. So the School of Stoke City was updated each week during lockdown, and a new subject and activities were added to keep fans engaged and occupied whilst improving their skills across maths, English, science, history and art. The star pupils were then in with a chance of winning their own signed shirt, as well as featuring across all the usual social media channels. And I think if I'd have had the opportunity to go to the School of Coventry City, then no doubt would have had an improved academic career. Yeah, and kind of removing the physical barriers. So lots of examples here we could have chosen, and nearly every club went down this route one way, shape or form. And really it's about using the digital tools that are now part of everybody's day-to-day lives, such as Zoom, as we're all here today, to kind of share, grow and communicate with fans. So the examples we've got here, an evening with Edinburgh Rugby, a Q&A with Leicester City legends, and the Sheffield United Virtual Fans Forum. And I think these are a great way to appeal to a broader audience, as traditionally many of these events don't go actually beyond the local fans. So no longer does it need to be a specific venue at a specific time. And I think personally that can only help to deliver those key messages and important updates to the wider fan base. And then the fans that wouldn't traditionally be able to access these events are going to feel a much closer connection to clubs. Next up, Fulham and Wolves have recently started working with OpenPay, so a company which allows fans to spread payments on retail products. This is following the trend of leading e-commerce businesses and removing barriers to purchase, especially for the kind of younger audience. And it's going to be really interesting for us to begin to see the data coming in to understand the types of audiences that are engaging with this as a product or a means of purchasing. And it'll be interesting as well to see if there's any additional more exclusive terms to be made available for potentially for season ticket holders, whereby they might have longer to pay or a higher amount of credit. And the final example we're going to run through is the QPR app, which is new and it is now live, and is a really great example of mixing gamification, recognition and reward. So a fan will log in using their single sign-on account, then collect or earn QPR coins for completing challenges, visiting sponsors, reading articles, watching videos, all whilst having access to the usual news, results and OTT platform. Supporters can then exchange their QPR coins into QPR cash and spend on retail or ticketing, all in real time using Sports Alliance loyalty engine and supporter API. So it's a great way to keep fans engaged, but also rewarded for that ongoing engagement. So that's kind of the end of the examples we wanted to run through. I'm kind of moving to the development phase. So as I said, we've seen lots of examples of new and reimagined products, but what does this mean for everyone and for all of our clients? So single sign-on is no longer just unifying a supporter's identity. It's now the enabler to help product diversification and ultimately commercial growth for everyone. A supporter's entitlement or membership level can deliver personalised products and services of their choice. So linking together these digital products in a manner which is niche to each fan will move us away from this kind of rigid membership we've had for 20 odd years, which is primarily driven by access to match tickets, whether that's through scarcity or not. So using some of the examples we've just looked through, let's summarise what a new membership offering might actually look like moving forwards. So if we can deliver the usual physical products of the offering as standard, which we've got the access to tickets, welcome packs, all the usual stuff, why not let fans then have the choice of which other new digital elements they would like to add via some sort of pick and mix approach. So if a fan could then select which of the pillars they wanted to add to their membership and then price this accordingly on a subscription basis, we've got a new and truly personalised digital membership. So all of the examples we've seen here can be delivered via single sign-on using your existing vendors. So my challenge to you guys watching is to keep up the momentum and ensure that the pivots and the diversification during COVID are here to stay and to help provide a more tailored and exciting offering for fans, and also keep challenging me and the guys at Sports Alliance to help deliver that for you. I think that is perfect timing, and that's everything from me. So over to Anthony to see if there's any questions.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Wouter, who I think will be momentarily popping up on the other screen with Matt. Yeah. I'd like to, there he is. So yeah, thanks again for everyone. Some questions we have. Do you see any trends emerging with regards to content which have been more successful than any others, please?
Sorry, I was just trying to work out where I need to be standing. So the question about trends emerging. Yes, there we go. So yeah, from a UK perspective, I think difficult to say exactly which trends have been more successful than others. It's been very much test and learn all the way through. What we have seen certainly is community and foundation and work that's been happening in the community. It has been extremely popular. We've not necessarily seen huge amounts of that before. And I think that's opened up, the potential for a new ongoing content strand, hopefully for lots of clubs moving forwards.
Great. Could one of you
I think
please...
from the Benelux, yeah. No, I think we saw now the first couple of clubs were the first steps into digital content and exclusive content. We have MyKVK in Belgium, Heracles with their Mijn Heracles platform. All to have exclusive content behind a single sign-on login, just during COVID, to give them some sort of compensation in terms of content.
Great, thanks very much. Matt Everett, thank you for a question. It is appreciated, it will be remembered. Aside from streaming of matches, gentlemen, could you comment on whether you've seen digital content that was previously behind a membership paywall being offered free to season ticket holders, and the change in economics that you may have seen in digital content, please?
Yes, I think we've seen differing approaches from different clubs, really. I think lots more content is naturally going to be available for free now. Certainly behind a single sign-on registration wall is a very popular tactic just to keep growing organically the database and the single sign-on registrations. But ultimately, paid for content now needs to be extremely slick and probably extremely expensive to truly make it work from a digital perspective. So I don't know, Wouter, if you've got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think Club Brugge inside the app with their broadcaster partner 11, they are now able to offer free clips of goals directly, almost live inside the app. But so I think that's a good example of exclusive content. Goal videos behind a login.
Great, thank you. Brief interlude while I thank you all for keeping your videos on and letting us into your lives as we do this day. Nikki Key, that's a very delightful color of paint you've got there in the background of your parlor. I'll have to talk with you about that. And Roger Whitehill, thank you for all of those guitars. Wasn't expecting to see that. We've got a third question from Herschel at West Ham. How do we move from digital content? How do we monetize digital content? If you could speak to that, please, folks.
That is a good question. Thanks, Herschel. So yeah, again, it's becoming more and more challenging, I guess, in terms of the models that are in place now to enable the monetization of that content. Is the content good enough to stand up to that's being produced, all across the world for different football clubs? There's a number of subscription models that are now out there. So again, it's a case of making sure the content is valuable, and then if it's free to air, is the advertising revenue enough to kind of make it wash its face? But it's an ongoing battle. But it seems to be that there is, with the likes of The Athletic, there's lots more kind of niches coming in from a content perspective. And can clubs begin to own those conversations rather than allowing other kind of media agencies to control it?
Yeah, I think if you look at, for example, newspapers with their premium content, what is like a paid subscription, I think it is a good example. And if you look then at presentation with digital touchpoints, if you really know a touch point inside the app on the website where supporters, interested in particular. You are then able to, based because of the single sign-on login, say, okay, for this particular supporter, we know he's interested in this content, so we place this behind the login, where for other supporters it's not, it's available for free, for example. Just because you know where they are interested in and know.
Thanks very much, gentlemen.